Students are awarded their degrees today by the University of Wales and are welcome to the membership of the University of Wales graduates.
This will almost certainly be the last set of graduation speeches which I give as the Vice-Chancellor of Swansea Metropolitan University. I will explain this somewhat intriguing statement a little later. I came to Swansea to become head of Swansea Metropolitan University just under 15 years ago, and in that first flush of youth, I made a rash promise to myself that I would prepare a new graduation speech every year. I am pleased to report that I have managed to do so, and that this year will be no exception. I take as my inspiration Janus, the two-faced, but not in a derogatory sense, Roman god who looks both backwards and forwards at the same time. Looking back, let me try and set out the key lessons which I have learned from my experiences as the longest serving head of a university in Wales, and indeed the second longest serving in the United Kingdom. I hope that some of these thoughts might even be helpful to you in your future careers. In no particular order, they are: firstly, being a senior manager is not really that difficult, and it's certainly a lot easier than being a middle manager. Now, why do I say this? The main reason is that middle managers have to spend a lot of their precious time and energy justifying to others the decisions which they feel should be made. They also have to constantly protect their patch from the thieving hands of others. Senior managers don't have to do either of these things, so long as they follow two guidelines, namely the Micawber principle, that happiness results from an income of £1 and an expenditure of 19 shillings and sixpence, and that misery comes from an income of £1 and an expenditure of 20 shillings and sixpence. And secondly, that maintaining or reducing cost levels is as important as growing income, then senior managers will invariably be regarded as successful. The second point: when the passion for what you are doing starts to run dry, then it's time to consider going. In my own case, the passion I have for education is still there. I owe everything that I have achieved to the educational opportunities which were offered to me and which my family, a relatively poor working class one, helped me to take. I still believe passionately that the key objectives for higher education should be the achievement of social justice and the transformation of the lives of individuals. For this reason, I cannot agree that some subjects are better than others, because it's argued, in my opinion, on the basis of very little evidence, that they are more important to the economic regeneration of the country. Some subjects are even categorised by the ignorant as Mickey Mouse. Clearly, such commentators know little about the job opportunities and the wealth created by the animation industry, both in the past and the present. Subject elitism is indefensible. It's the impact on the life of the individual graduate which counts. Fourthly, all organisations operate within constraining environments, and it's simply pointless to try and go against them. By all means, try and influence this environment, but if you fail, adaptation of the organisation, some might say conformity, is the only way forward. In the case of universities, we have to accept that we must meet the standards of the various quality regimes and accrediting bodies which are set up to monitor us. We have to accept that the media is not there to advance our interests and may well expose Achilles' heels whilst ignoring at the same time the rest of the superbly fit body. But above all, we have to accept the will of the democratically elected government of whatever country we live in. Strive to change the views of government by all means. Expose its usually fairly poor arguments by constructive criticism. But in the end, if you accept the king's shilling, the conclusion is obvious. At this painful point, I can fortunately move speedily onto my second to last experiential learning point. I know all the jargon. Change is with us always and is nothing to fear. However, it should be carefully planned, undertaken slowly, and examined from all angles to try and eliminate unintended consequences. This is the Janus bit looking forward. I have, during the course of this event, added in another experiential learning point, and that is try and avoid having a senior moment whilst you're in the public gaze. For the male student who I forgot to clap vigorously as he came onto the stage, I apologise unreservedly, and your clap is lodged in my heart. To go back to not fearing change. Swansea Metropolitan University was formerly Swansea Institute of Higher Education, and before that West Glamorgan Institute of Higher Education, and before that 3 separate colleges of art and design, teacher education and technology, all founded in the 19th century. Hence, when we formally merge in the very near future to become the University of Wales Trinity St David, based in Swansea, Carmarthen and Lampeter, but still trading as Swansea Metropolitan, we will be continuing a process which has been happening over the last 150 years. Nor will this be the end, because we are already committed to welcoming the University of Wales, Coleg Ceredigion and Coleg Sir Gâr into the family.